Hi, I'm Jolie.
And I'm Melissa.
And this is the BCI Beat.
So Jolie, have you heard of Christmas in July?
Yeah, that's like when you go shopping and get all of the holiday sales, right?
Yeah, well, what if I told you there was Christmas in January?
Are there sales? Because if not, what's the point?
Well, Christmas in January is better than a sale. It's an unorthodox celebration.
Really? I'm curious now. You'll have to tell me more.
Well, you'll have to stay tuned to find out.
Awesome. So, Mel, how long have you been involved in Blessing the Children International?
19 years.
Wow. So you probably know then, how come they chose Ethiopia for the base place for the ministry?
Yeah, so Debrecen is a really safe town. It's actually a tourist town, and it's not what you would think of when you think of a traditional African city. It's very modernized, and so we have our child sponsorship program there, and we also have two school campuses called the BCI Academy.
It does seem like it's a really nice bubble of protection for the kids.
Yeah, it's a really great place, safe place to grow up. There's very little crime, and our social workers have been working with these kids in this safe environment for a long time.
So tell me then, what happens when students kind of graduate out of this program?
So when they graduate high school, they have the opportunity to continue on in our extended support program.
Okay.
So they can either go to a university or do vocational training. And so if they choose to go on to university, sometimes that means that they have to go to a university that's, hours and hours away from Debrecen.
Have you sent anybody to university recently?
Yeah, we actually sent off 8 students to university this year. 2 of those students are Adana and Bemnet, who went several hours away.
Oh, wow. And how are they doing in university?
You know what, they've been having some struggles, so there's been some ethnic tensions at their university between the Oromia and Amharic groups, and so they have actually had their dorm robbed recently.
Wow.
And they had some of their possessions stolen, blankets, toiletries, clothes, stuff like that.
Wow, that's so sad. I mean, here in America, we think, oh, you can just run down to Target and replace it, no big deal. But I'm sure there it's a much bigger deal, much harder to replace those items.
Yeah, it's they don't have the money.
Right.
The only way that they got the stuff to begin with was because part of the extended support program, we give them blankets and clothes and stuff to help them get started. So
Right.
yeah, it can be really devastating to lose everything that you had.
So are they okay? Did they make it out of the violence, or?
Yeah, thankfully they climbed out their dorm window to
Goodness.
escape. I know. And they had some family in town, so they were able to go and stay with them
Okay.
for a couple days until we were able to get them back to Debrecen.
Okay, well then what is the future look like for them since this all happened? Are they going to be able to go back to university?
We hope so. Our staff there is monitoring the situation and how the groups are interacting, and hopefully, once the violence settles down, they'll be able to go back and continue their education.
Right, well, hopefully this is just an isolated incident and it doesn't happen again.
Yep, we hope so.
So, Mel, you told me about Christmas in January. I need the details.
Yeah, so Christmas in January, I said it was unorthodox, but actually it is Orthodox, Ethiopian Orthodox.
So, I guess I always thought that all cultures across the board celebrated Christmas on December 25th like we do here in America.
Yeah, so in Ethiopia, they celebrate their Christmas on January 7th, and it's called Malcolm Gena.
Malcolm Gena?
Yeah, so Malcolm Gena is basically how they would say Merry Christmas. Gena would be Christmas, and Malcolm is Merry.
Wow. So how does that compare to what we celebrate here in America?
Yeah, so in America, in the Western world in general, we tend to be based around gifts a lot. But in Ethiopia, it's more based around family and spending time with people that you love. They enjoy a meal together, go to a church service, play games.
What does BCI do during Christmas time to spread holiday cheer?
So we kind of assess the needs of the organization as a whole. We look at, what specific kids need. And so we then give our donors the opportunity to give where they feel led. So some opportunities this year were we had a donor give a large donation for gift matching. So we were
awesome.
able to, for people who would donate an outfit, we could donate a pair of shoes with it. We provided some new kitchen tools for the cooks at the BCI Academy. We provided some grain support. We provided a large community meal for the children and their families.
Oh, that's so sweet.
And especially touching one is we have a 9-year-old boy who's disabled, and he has been for some time. And so he really struggles to get around. He's not able to walk. So his sponsor actually donated a wheelchair for him this Christmas.
Wow. Well, it seems like it really takes a village.
Yeah, it really takes the world.
So, Mel, tell me what's new at BCI?
I think the biggest thing is that we just finished our new KG building.
What's a KG building?
So KG is basically like preschool and kindergarten combined. It's ages 3 to 6, the ages right before they head off to first grade.
Okay, so what happened with the old building? Is something wrong with it?
No, the old building was great. It was a great starter building, but really we've just outgrown it. Yeah, there's only 2 classrooms there, and so this new building we have actually has 5 classrooms, and we've currently got about 160 students.
Okay, wait, so if I do the math, that's like approximately 30 students per classroom?
Yeah, which is actually half the number of most KGs in Ethiopia. The standard number is 60 students.
Wait, 60 kids, kindergarten kids in one classroom? Oh my goodness, I could not even imagine. Little tornadoes running around all the time. Right, so what are you guys going to do with the old building?
The old building is actually being used as a daycare.
Cool.
So it's right across the street from the BCI Academy. So it's also beneficial for our staff because, if they have young children, they can drop them off to the daycare and then come across the street for work.
So it looks like BCI just keeps growing.
Yeah, the school has just expanded. It's crazy. We pride ourselves on excellence and offering a good education, and we've been recognized by the Ministry of Education
Wow.
and gotten
That sounds like an
awards from
amazing
them.
accolade.
Yeah, it's been amazing, and we're so excited to see continued growth.
That's fantastic. School that BCI runs, but tell me more about the sponsorships that they do.
Yeah, so the school was actually a product of the sponsorship program, in that, part of the sponsorship program is giving our kids a good education. So because of the sponsorship program, we created the school. Also within the sponsorship program, in addition to education, we give our kids medical care when needed, physicals, checkups. They receive grain support and other family support when necessary. And they also are part of the school lunch and breakfast program. So every day they go to school, they get a balanced breakfast and lunch.
So you were telling me before about this one girl that is awaiting a sponsorship, Elsa. Now, I've heard of Elsa of Arendelle, but this is Elsa of Ethiopia, and she has an extremely unique, heartbreaking story. Can you explain to us a little bit more about what that's about?
Yeah, so I've seen a lot of tragedy, in my time working with BCI, but Elsa is, yes, a unique case. She was kidnapped when she was in kindergarten, when she was on her way to school, and her kidnapper took her to a town called Ducum, which is about 8 miles north of Debrecen. And once there, he forced her to beg on the street for money, and any money that she got, he would take from her. So he was using her for an income.
I can't imagine that's got to be so traumatic for her.
Yeah, and
they found her?
Yeah, so after she was kidnapped, unfortunately, her father was already sick to begin with, and he passed away 2 days after she was kidnapped.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and then, so about 2 months after she was kidnapped, her mom was in Ducum and saw her on the street, and was able to take her home. But she's, obviously traumatized from the situation.
Right.
And, so once her mom got her back home, she was incoherent. She wasn't able to focus. She was very nonverbal, just obviously traumatized by the situation.
Right. And so there's probably not any, trauma care or anything that they can offer for her to help her get through this?
Yeah, trauma care in Ethiopia is virtually non-existent, and where it does exist, it's not very accessible, especially for, families like Elsa, where, her mom is so sick and chronically sick that, she can't work, so she doesn't have an income.
Right.
The only way they're getting by is by her mom begging the neighbors, for food, just to get by day to day.
So what does the doctor say for her mom?
Well, the doctor, her mom was recently diagnosed with breast cancer. And so, that's a battle that she's fighting. And unfortunately, the doctor doesn't expect her mother to live much longer.
So then she'll be an orphan. What can we do to help her?
Well, sponsorship is the best way to help the children, to get them into our program so that we can be a part of their lives. Blessing the Children can become part of their community. They have the resources that we have to offer, not only with food and, school support, but, also just our social workers being there to keep an eye on them and to be a support system in their lives.
A stable environment, because it doesn't seem like she's had one at all.
No.
So how do I get involved with a sponsorship?
Yeah, so you can go to blessingthechildren.org. You'll find all the information that you need there, and there's actually a link in the description box.
And how much would that cost? Hundreds of dollars, right? Because that's how much it costs for my kid.
No, actually just $1 a day or $3 a day is enough to get Elsa into the sponsorship program.
$1 a day. That seems like so little compared to what we would imagine.
Yeah, but it's life-changing for her. It will, give her the support and the community she needs to move on with her life and grow and heal.
$1 a day for support. It's amazing.
On a happier note, I do have some good news to share. We have 4 little girls at the BCI Academy who found some money on the playground. And, I'm sure the temptation to keep this money was very strong.
Right? They could have, taken that home, given it to their parents. I could have helped pay for bills. They could have played with the money. I mean...
Yeah, but they, marched right up to some of our staff and turned in the money and said that they found it on the playground. Our staff were so proud, the choices that they made. And so our staff held a little ceremony for them to recognize them, in front of the rest of the school and the rest of the teachers to say, look at the good decisions these girls are making.
That's fantastic. That seems like the school doesn't only teach and it doesn't only take care of the food, but it really, really helps build character. And it just seems to me like, it's a good lesson for all of us. So Mel, this has been great catching up with you and learning about all the different things that are going on with BCI. Tell me, what are you going to talk about next time?
Well, next time I will have a surprise about Ethiopia's anti-aging secret.
Oh man, I am down for that. That sounds great.
Yeah, but in the meantime, you can go to our website or one of our many social media pages to check out what's new with us. We're on Twitter, we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook. You can also send us an email. Just get in touch with us.
That's awesome. And everybody, make sure that you like and that you subscribe to the BCI Beat. And if you want to, comment down below and ask all of your questions, and we'd be really happy to answer them in any further episodes. Be blessed.